no Queen of Sheba.
Hey, welcome back. This is Clay Nelson, Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour on KZSB AM 1290. Hey, I was talking before we went on the break about family meetings, communication, transferring America's youth, all kinds of things about stepping out there, making a difference, big or small, about being a part of your neighborhood, about knowing who your neighbors are, playing with the kids, playing basketball in the rain, getting out there and not really having a plan, but being committed to make a difference and making sure kids are acknowledged and hugged and listened to. And it's pretty phenomenal. Susan, you said you had a quote that you wanted to read.
Yes, it's from Ann Landers.
Yeah.
It says, in the final analysis, it is not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings.
Right on. So what is success? Happiness. Money can't hug you. All right? What is success? Full in communication. Without it, you got nothing. What is success? The greatest hug in the world. Now, where's the greatest hugs in the world come from? Your kids. The number one best hugs in the world. Okay?
Clay, we actually have someone on the line who probably does give great hugs, but who has a question about her kids.
Okay. Hello. Who have I got?
Hi, Clay. This is Karen.
Oh, hi, Karen. What can I do for you?
Well,
And do you give good hugs?
I think I do.
Well,
yes.
cool. Okay, go ahead.
My daughter, who is 14, has a friend who hangs out at our house all the time. She's a really sweet girl, but she's pretty quiet. She doesn't talk about her family much, if at all, and always wants to be at our house, always doing stuff with us. And it has made me wonder about her home life and her relationship with her family, and I have concerns for her. And I've thought about reaching out to her mom and introducing myself under the guise of, this is who I am. Your daughter's spending a lot of time here. Thought you'd want to know who I am, just to see if I can help that relationship. And my husband keeps telling me to stay out of it. And I feel really torn because I feel like she could use some help, and I don't know what to do.
Okay, so your question is, should I get involved with the mother?
Should I get involved in any way, shape, or form, or just let things continue the way they are?
Okay, so how about this? How about you? The only difference you can make is with people that can listen to you. And it looks like the daughter is there in your house because it's a safe place to be, and that she likes the environment and nobody bugs her too much. And your daughter is a safe person to be with, and they get along okay. I would have a talk with your daughter about her and see if your daughter could make a difference and see if you could teach your daughter to help her in some way. And at the same time, you and your daughter could learn to communicate about the problems that you see her having, which would keep your daughter possibly from having them. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I had never even dreamed of thinking of it that way.
Yeah, that was a mouthful, but did you follow it?
Yeah, basically about opening the lines of communication with my daughter around this topic. So we do have a good line of communication.
Yeah. See, the person you got to make a difference with is the person that is, quite frankly, feeling, less than listened to, less than acknowledged, wanting to be away from her own family. You got to make a difference with the youngster. You make a difference with the parents later, but you got to make a difference with the youngster first.
Okay.
Can you get that?
Yeah, I do.
And the way you can do that is be the gift of the difference being made through your own children, then everybody wins.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Isn't that
to
cool?
think about that way. Yeah, it's very cool.
And then you don't have to turn in to be the junior therapist, because, well, respectfully, you get in a lot of trouble doing that.
Well, that's why my husband's been telling me to stay out of it.
So, but what would be really cool is to have you and your husband have a family meeting with your daughter and just say, hey, we'd like to ask you some questions about your friend, and could we help in some way? And let your daughter bring to you what could be done.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
We'll
do it tonight.
All right. Well, thanks for hugging me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye now. Whew, boy, that was a mouthful. I felt like it was right on the...
That's an amazing situation, though.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. You got to be careful of those things. But everybody can make a difference with somebody else. You just have to create the listening. And that takes time and patience and commitment. So it's really pretty cool. Now, family meetings. Why have them? Without them, you don't have a family. Without them, your family doesn't have a great place where they can feel free to say what they need to say. Without them, you don't get to know what's going on with the members of the family. Without them, you don't get to find out what people are mad at, what people are tired of, or quite frankly, what's going on in their world. Without it, people don't get to practice full and complete communication in a safe, easy, fully completed mechanism, where it's absolutely, you're in your cave, safe, you can say anything you want to say, do it any way you need to, and you know that no matter what, you're not going to get made wrong for it, you're not going to get beat up. What you are going to get is listened to and contributed to. That's family meeting. So think about that. Now, family meetings have some guidelines, and I want you to hear this, all right? Any member of the family can call a family meeting at any time. It's the agreement of the family to go and meet when the meeting's called, unless you're at work or something's going on. And then it's got to be done as soon as possible, usually in the evening. But everybody has to agree when someone calls a family meeting, you have to honor that the family meeting's been called, and you go and you sit down, and whoever needs to speak, whoever called the meeting gets the floor. No one interrupts until that person says, cries, does whatever they got to do to get complete with what they got to say, right? And then every person at the family meeting gets to address the issue back to the person that called the family meeting. Everybody gets to say, here's how I feel, here's what's going on.
Clay, a listener actually wanted me to ask you, and not to interrupt your thought here, but how do you diffuse a family meeting that's disintegrated into a shouting match? Because you can't expect these to always be civil all the time. One hopes,
right.
but,
That's right.
But
okay,
how do you handle that?
Well, first of all, if someone gets upset and is yelling at somebody or interrupts the speaker, you have to let them know, hey, you will have the floor in a minute. Just calm down, all right? You can't get anything done by screaming or yelling. You can't get anything done by fighting and raising your hands or fists or standing up and walking around the room. You can't get anything done. So you have to be committed to confront the issues, whatever they are, no matter how vulnerable it makes you feel or how bad it makes you feel. On the other side of a family meeting is always a hug. Always a hug. So that's what you do with those kind of things. So how do you get, if a family meeting gets to a shouting match, you call a timeout. You okay, wait a minute, calm down. Everybody go get a drink of water and then come on back in here to the room. We've done it before, right?
Yeah.
Susan?
It's got to be so that it gets resolved.
Yeah, I mean, with the last time, remember when you were screaming so loud, we couldn't. No, so it happens when emotions really get up there, especially when you're talking about relationships. I mean, I can remember some family meetings we had with Elizabeth and CJ where Susan and I had to talk with Elizabeth and CJ about grabbing each other by the throat down in the rooms, going, "Get out of my room! You can't be in my room." They're 5 years apart, and it's like, whoa, they were at war, and I just had to tell Elizabeth, pretty soon your brother's going to be growing up and he's going to be bigger than you. You better hope he doesn't grab you by the throat like you grabbing him. And Elizabeth going, oh, that's a good idea. Better cool my jets. So it's just all those kind of things, all right? Now, next, the family meetings, whoever calls a family meeting has the floor no matter what. They can say anything they need to say in a nice manner, in a good tone, all right? And it's usually advisable to have a box of Kleenex around because they're always used, all right? Parents are mentors or guardians. In a family meeting, your job is to keep the peace. Your job is to not say anything until everything that's been said is needed to be said. Your job is to plant the seed, not drop a tree. Your job is to get people to communicate fully and to develop their own resolve, okay? So beyond a formal family meeting, what can you do to make sure that young people in your life know that you are truly on their side and want to hear what they have to say? Well, number one is you have to slow down and be present to who they are, what they have to say, how they feel, what their eye contact is, and quite frankly, what their look is on their face. All right?
And
now,
listen.
And listen, yeah. Now, in a minute, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about listening. We're going to talk about permission to shoot straight. We're going to talk about full and complete communication. So you're listening to the Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour on KZSB AM 1290. Get on back here. We're going to have a blast.
Sunglasses are all for all.